একটা কোশ্চেন দেখবো। ওকে, হচ্ছে 2023, হ্যাঁ, এটা প্রবাবলি হচ্ছে জানুয়ারির। ওকে, পেপার 1 3। ওকে, সো এখানে বলবো diagram 1 shows the magnetic field between the poles of two strong magnets. Add labels to the diagram 1 to show the poles of the bar magnets. So you can see that it is indicating this side, right? So what do you understand by this? That the magnetic field lines are like this, right? So they go from north and gets inserted to south, right? So that is why the arrow is like this, from north to south. So you just have to put the label. Okay, so N will be this and this will be S. That is it. Okay, 1 mark done. Achha. So the bar magnets are made from steel. So these things are made from steel. Give one reason why steel is a good material for making bar magnets. So you have to understand that bar magnets are one sort of permanent magnet. Okay, so previously when we studied magnetism, we studied two types of magnets. One is permanent, another one is temporary. Okay, so if you have missed that class and still have confusion, you should go and watch the video. Okay, so what is permanent magnets? The magnets which retains its magnetism. Okay, temporary magnets loses their magnetism over a short period of time. Over a long period of time, almost for infinite, permanent magnets retains their magnetism. So for permanent magnet to retain magnetism, we use hard magnetic materials. Again, so we use hard magnetic materials. And temporary magnets which loses magnetism easily, we use soft magnetic materials. So again, what are hard magnetic materials and soft magnetic materials? Hard magnetic materials are materials those retains its magnetism. Okay, and soft magnetic materials loses its magnetism. So if I want to use a material like steel for making bar magnets, why it is good? Because steel is a hard magnetic material. Iron is soft. So you can use iron in case of okay, so iron is a soft magnetic material, so you can use iron in cores like transformers or solenoids where you can easily magnetize it. Okay, because in solenoids and transformers you have to easily magnetize the material. Okay, if you use no, not like that. Okay, hard and soft, it's not that concept. Okay, it's about magnetism. Hard magnetic materials are those. No. Hard magnetic materials are those which retains their magnetism. Once it is magnetized or once it forms a magnet, it has the ability to attract many times without any other sources. Soft magnetic materials are those, once it is magnetized and you remove it from the source, it loses its magnetism, so it attracts no more. In that concept, it is soft and hard. Right. Okay, in that sense, it is soft and hard. Okay, so I am taking a bit more time, okay, to explain the concepts and then answer the questions. Okay, I'm just not answering the questions straight, okay, because I'm just starting with the questions. Okay, so when we will solve mock papers, then I will just straight answer the questions, because I expect by that time you have full concept. So now I am also explaining the concept. So explain how diagram 1 shows a uniform magnetic field. So how does this diagram show a uniform magnetic field? So you can notice that the magnetic field lines are all parallel, right or wrong? They are all parallel and they are equally spaced. So if you can say these two lines, you will get 2 marks. This is a common feature of uniform magnetic field lines. So see, they have told us that the field lines are straight, they are evenly spaced, they are parallel. Okay, so if it was 3 marks, you have to write 3 points. So let me write the points. They are straight lines. They cannot be curved lines. Okay, they have to be straight lines. They have to be evenly spaced. They are evenly spaced and they are parallel. Okay, so it was 2 marks, so you can write any 2 points. If it was 3 marks, you have to write 3 points. So they could have asked by giving a magnet, for example, like this, okay, curved magnet, and here is another curved magnet, separate or a straight magnet. Okay, so probably the magnetic field lines will be a bit curved here. Okay, so they can ask you that explain how this diagram shows that the magnetic field lines are not uniform. So if they tell you that they are not uniform, so you have to say that they are not straight lines, they are not evenly spaced, and they are not parallel. Opposite answer you have to say. Okay, so you have to be prepared for questions from any direction. Okay, so you just can't memorize that they are straight lines, they are evenly spaced, they are parallel. So in this case, if you would have write this answer, you would have gotten straight 0. Okay, because they have asked that why this diagram doesn't show magnetic field lines which are not uniform. So if you write the condition for uniform, you won't get the mark. You just have to write not in front of all. বুঝতে পারছো কি বোঝাতে চাইছি? সো কনসেপ্ট কিন্তু তোমার একটাই, কোয়েশ্চেন আসতে পারে অনেক রকমের, বুঝতে পারছো? সো তুমি হচ্ছে গিয়ে কনসেপ্টটা ঠিক রাখবা। ওকে, কোয়েশ্চেন যেটাই আসুক না কেন, তুমি যদি কনসেপ্ট ঠিক থাকে তাহলে যে কোনো জিনিস আনসার করতে পারবে। ওকে, সো মেমোরাইজ করে কিন্তু বেশি দূর যেতে পারবে না। ওকে, একটা সার্টেন পয়েন্টে এটা আটকাই যাবা, বুঝতে পারছো? কনসেপ্ট যদি বুঝে যাও তাহলে দেখবা যে তোমার পড়াশোনা হচ্ছে অনেকটু কমে আসবে। বুঝাইতে পারছি? আচ্ছা, ওকে, সো এরপর কি বললো, diagram 2 shows a metal wire being moved downwards. So দেখো, a metal wire is here and there are 2 magnets through the uniform field between the poles of the same bar magnets. The orientation of the magnets has not been changed. So it is same, it was north and this was south. It has not been changed. So here there are imaginary magnetic field lines like this. Okay, acha, and the wire, this wire, it will be moved downwards like this. Clear? Okay, give a reason why voltage is induced between the ends of the wire as it moves between the poles of the bar magnets. Why is the voltage induced? Because of electromagnetic induction. What does electromagnetic induction tells us? That if a conductor or a metal wire or a coil of wire cuts through a magnetic field line, a voltage will be induced. Okay, so what idea that the wire cuts the magnetic field line? So you can write it in any way, that the wire cuts through the magnetic field lines. Okay, acha. State two changes that could have been made to this arrangement that would increase the magnitude of the induced voltage. So how can you increase the magnitude of the induced voltage? You can either move the wire faster, you can make it a coil, like if you make it a coil, like if you increase the number of wires, so then there will be a lot of wires being cut as you move through. Or you can use a much stronger magnet. So we are moving a wire through this magnetic field line, right? So as we move a wire through these magnetic field lines, a voltage is induced across the ends of the wire. Okay. How can we increase the amount of the voltage induced? If you move the wire faster, that can be one reason. Huh? Induced means creation of voltage. Okay. So as you move through the magnetic field line, voltage is generated. That is called induced. So as you move through this, either you can move it faster, so there will be more voltage, or you can make it a coil. See, I have made it a coil. There was a straight wire, I have made it a coil. So if you make it a coil, there will be more number of wires that is cut through as you move through, right? Or you can use much stronger magnet. Any 3 points? So let's see what they have written. You can move the wire faster. Yes, we told that. You can move the magnets closer together. If you move the magnets closer together, the magnetic field will be much stronger than if the magnets are separated. Normal common sense, right? You can use a stronger magnet. I told this already. Or you can turn the wire into a coil, which means if you have a single wire, if you turn it to a coil, there will be more number of wires, so more magnetic what? Induced voltage. So this is straight from the book. If you read the book, you can understand this. Okay. So today we just did one question, which is 7 marks. I think very basic, straightforward. Okay. So next day I will do more, 5 to 6 questions at least. Yeah, and then we will have a test. Okay. So I told you to keep the concepts clear. Okay. If you keep your concepts clear, you can answer any question. Okay. For example, motor effect or the generator effect. These two effects does not only work in a motor or a generator. For example, a motor can be used in anywhere, right? In any sort of devices. The effect of generator can also be used in any sort of devices. Okay. So if you know what is the motor effect and what is the generator effect, then you can use this concept to answer any sort of situation. Also transformer. Transformer is not just only in গ্রিড লাইনস। ওকে, গ্রিড লাইনস মানে কি, যে আমাদের বাসার সামনে যে দেখো না তারগুলো থাকে, ওইখানে ট্রান্সফরমার আছে না, ওই খাম্বাগুলোতে, জাস্ট ওইখানে কিন্তু ট্রান্সফরমার থাকে না। ট্রান্সফরমার কিন্তু কিসে থাকে বলতো? আমাদের সব রকমের ডিভাইসের ভিতরেও ট্রান্সফরমার আছে, ছোট ছোট ট্রান্সফরমার আছে আমাদের ল্যাপটপে, ফোনে। ওকে, সো এরা কি বলতো, এরা হচ্ছে গিয়ে খালি ট্রান্সফরমার না, এখানে এটাকে বলে ট্রানজিস্টর। ট্রান্সফরমার প্লাস রেজিস্টর, এটা অ্যাডভান্স পড়া, বাট আমি জাস্ট বলতেছি যে ট্রান্সফরমার, জেনারেটর, মোটর, তারপরে হচ্ছে ফ্লেমিংস রাইট হ্যান্ড রুল, লেফট হ্যান্ড রুল, কিভাবে হচ্ছে আমাদের এই ম্যাগনেটিকের চারপাশে হচ্ছে ম্যাগনেটিক ফিল্ড লাইন্স গুলো আঁকতে হবে। ওকে, এই যে কনসেপ্ট গুলো কিন্তু বইয়ে অনেক সুন্দর করে লেখা আছে, বইটা তুমি ভালো করে পড়বা, রেকর্ডিংস গুলো দেখবা, বুক কোয়েশ্চেন্স করবা, ইউনিট কোয়েশ্চেন্স করবা। অ্যাজ সুন অ্যাজ পসিবল এক্সাম দেওয়ার আগে ডেফিনেটলি এগুলো শেষ করতে হবে। এন্ড আমি তো হচ্ছে কি আরো 2টা ক্লাস পাবো, ওই 2টা ক্লাসে হচ্ছে আমি তোমাদের আরো কিছু কোয়েশ্চেন্স আমি দেখাই দিব। ওকে, সো আশা করি যে কোয়েশ্চেন পেপারও আমার এখানে প্র্যাকটিস হয়ে যাবে। ওকে, আর যে বাসায় আরো এক্সট্রা এফোর্ট দিতে পারবা, সেই যদি হচ্ছে আফটার রিডিং দ্য বুক, আফটার ডুইং দ্য বুক কোয়েশ্চেন্স প্লাস ইউনিট কোয়েশ্চেন্স, someone who gives more extra effort to do the question paper, he or she will definitely get full marks in my test. Okay, so it's up to you. Okay, how much you give effort. ঠিক আছে, তো আজকের ক্লাস এই পর্যন্তই। সো আমরা নেক্সট ক্লাসে আরো কিছু কোয়েশ্চেন করবো।